Thank you kindly. I'm so delighted to be here, and I would like to begin respectfully with a land acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh for allowing us to hold our beautiful virtual circle on their unceded territory. And it is such an honor to be here. And as Raven introduced me, I'm from the Sla'ama Nation, my mother's people. That's about 6 hours north and 2 ferries to get there to the city, Paul River, and then Sla'aman is where my mother was born, and that's my people. And my father's people is Hemalco, and that's at the mouth of Butte Inlet, and relocated to Campbell River. And I also have a great-grandmother, Kwakwakula, from Cape Munch. And I'm also a mother of 2 adult children, 45, my oldest daughter, Tanya, and my youngest daughter, Jade, who's 38. And I have 1 grandson who's 30 and a great-grandson who's age 7. And so I just wanted to acknowledge them because I think that family is so important. And I'm going to begin with doing a song. And because it's so important to ground ourselves in bringing our circle together, and I know that we are all one. We are all one voice, especially for this presentation in regard to pain, BC. And so this song is One Voice. One voice, one people. We are one voice, one people. We are one voice, one nation. Weya, 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 we are one voice, one nation, one song, rainbows dancing. We are one song, rainbows dancing. We are one song, rainbows dancing. Weya, 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 Osiam Emotswag, and I want to say a blessing before we start, as it is our way to share a blessing. Grandmothers, great-grandmothers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, we come to you as one of your many, many children. I'm asking for blessings for each and every one here in our virtual circle. All of the frontline workers and the doctors, all the essential workers. Bless them, Creator, thank you. I'm asking for blessings for our people who are suffering, the ones without homes, the ones without food, and the ones that are hurting. Bless them, Creator. I'm asking for prayers for all of our families. Hold them close in your heart, Creator. Thank you. And again, I want to say a special prayer for the ones that are hurting. OCM, Emote, Squag, and thank you. And I want to invite Will to come and light a candle because I think it's so important to bring light. And that's what we want to do today, is bring a little bit of light to you. And I believe that we all need light in our life. And just because of our subject today of pain, it's a very challenging subject. And especially, we're doing our work right here in the front line of the downtown east side. And I will now have Will come in. Thank you.
Thank you, Elder Glida. I always get nervous doing these presentations, but I feel a lot more relaxed right now.
OCM, thank you.
I'm going to share my screen here. Got some technical difficulties. I might be on as an attendee. I can't share my screen. Okay, let me try that one more time. Nope. I got a great comment. That's Elder Glida's superpower. She does have a superpower.
Are we able to share the screen?
Oh, here we go. Okay, now we can.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Just give me 1 second. My system crashed. Apologies.
There we go.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'll give you a bit of context as far as our service and how we're set up, and give you an idea of who's on our team right now, and then from there we'll talk a bit about how Elder Glida has been serving our clients and the work that she's been able to bring to our team. So to provide you with a little bit of context, we are a persistent pain service or chronic pain service. We operate out of the downtown east side of Vancouver, and we serve about 6 different community health clinics or community health centers. So doctors, nurse practitioners, nurses, dietitians, counselors, these are all folks who typically refer to our service for anybody who's had long-standing pain issues. We serve a very marginalized population. These folks typically don't have access to this type of service. It's the first time that we've been able to bring physiotherapy within the downtown east side. Before that, they weren't able to access that service. And the need kind of came about because we realized that we're in the middle of this opioid crisis, and there are very few non-pharmacological management strategies that are available for our clients. So the opioid crisis is actually what brought our funding about, and they brought on people who can, so physiotherapists, nurse practitioner folks who are providing services that are non-pharmacological, so drug-free services. Yeah. And let me just introduce our team to you. This is Sarah Najaf-Vadi. She's a new physiotherapist, new to our team. She came on about 3 or 4 months ago now. And she runs a couple of different programs for us. She's got the gentle movement class, along with a recreation therapist, Amanda, on a different team. They run a gentle movement class that's designed to help people figure out how do you move safely when you have pain? How do you understand when is it safe to push yourself through pain? When should you be holding back? And exploring what's safe with your body. How do you move when you're experiencing pain? Along with Elder Glida, she also runs our Making Sense of Pain class. And this class is designed by Pain BC. Pain BC also designed the gentle movement class, I should say. And the class is an 8-week series that looks at how do you manage your pain? What are the different tools that we can use, that we can develop to begin to learn how to manage our pain? So we look at the role of stress in pain, we look at the role of nutrition in pain, we look at the role of emotions and mood on pain, as well as the physical component as well. How do you move with pain? And we'll talk a bit more about that course a little bit further down the presentation with Elder Glida. But Sarah kind of runs that course along with providing one-on-one physio services for our clients in the downtown east side. Next up, we've got Barb. Barb Eddy's a nurse practitioner. She's been working around here for, I don't know how many years actually, many years. Let's just leave it at that. So she's got a lot of experience within the downtown east side, over a decade, I'm pretty sure. And if I can speak for Barb, she became a little bit frustrated with the pain services that were available to her clients as a nurse practitioner. So she received training in myoactivation, which is a non-pharmacological treatment strategy. It uses needles to help identify points of restriction or tension within your body that might be limiting your movement or impacting your pain. So a lot of our clients have had great successes with this treatment, and it's not something that would have otherwise been available to the clients around here.
What is the myoactivation again, Will?
Yeah, it's called myoactivation. That's the treatment that she provides. It's a needling treatment that looks at, it's a systematic treatment that tries to find ways that might be restricting your movement or impacting your pain. So it uses needles to help release scar tissues and yeah. Okay. And then there's myself. It's always awkward to have a picture of yourself now that I have it there. But I'm the team lead, and I'm also a physiotherapist on the team. Finally, we have Nash, who's our administrative assistant and pretty much manages the 500 plus referrals that we've received since we started, and keeps us organized and on track. Her role is invaluable on the team. It would be very chaotic without her. But she manages our wait list and helps keep us moving smoothly.
She holds us. She's the glue that holds us all together.
And then finally, obviously, we have Elder Glida.
Thank you.
Yeah, who joined our team. Maybe when was it? Was it probably last October, about a year ago, actually. I think it was about a year ago. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
it's been great to be a part of the team. I feel very welcomed, and I'm just delighted to be able to come and do some of the work here. LCM. Thank you. Yeah.
So that's our team. We serve folks within the downtown east side, but we're also we also work with a lot of other healthcare providers that serve this team, and I just want to give a shout out to Steps, who's a psychosocial rehab team or a mental health team that shares an office with us actually, and who have done quite a bit of work with our clients. We tend to share quite a bit, but we're also supported by some incredible healthcare workers within the downtown east side: nurses, doctors, NPs, counselors, dietetics, respiratory therapists, social workers. We are very quite fortunate to be working in actually an integrative environment. Or an integrative team. We hear that word a lot within the healthcare system, and I feel as though we're actually kind of figuring out how to do that in a very cool way.
Yeah, I think that's awesome that we get to have a network of providers and that we're learning to work together in a good way, and it's so important to do that so that we can serve our clients the best way that we can, and that's what it's all about. So thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to pass it back to Elder Glida to talk a bit about the context for why it's important to have Elder Glida on our team.
I just want to say what a privilege it is to be able to come and do the work here. And some of the things that I've experienced on a personal level myself in dealing with pain is it's no fun, as you all know, and as participants in this virtual circle, I'm sure that many of you have experienced pain, be it physical or emotional. And if you throw into that equation some of the things that are happening in the downtown east side, I know that there's been a bit of discussion on our population and why they're here. And I know myself personally, as a mother, grandmother, and great grandmother, that I have witnessed some of the emotional pain from the impact of residential school. I'm intergenerational, and my father went to day school, my mother went to day school, my grandmother, she went to residential school at Cooper Island. And so keeping that in mind with my work and respectfully working with our clients and understanding that having compassion is so important when we're working with our marginalized Indigenous people and population. And I can only give an example. An example that I could think of is my grandfather. He went to residential school and ran away from there, and his brother passed away there. And my father, who went to day school, he was living in poverty, and he wasn't allowed to leave the reserve, and there was never enough food. And I remember my dad telling me that he used to have to go to school without any nutrition, without anything, and living in poverty because of the way that the government had set up for our people was not a good thing. And also on a personal level, I can carry on to our people that are in the foster care system, where I know that I have family that have went into the foster care system. They were never seen again and adopted out. And I do believe that when we are working with our clients here in the downtown east side, that if we can create a safe space, we need to create safe spaces where they can feel welcome from all of the intergenerational traumas. We even have clients that are survivors of residential schools, survivors of the foster care system, that we need to open our hearts and open our minds to inviting them in for healing. And this Pain BC program is a great place to offer that support and technique that Barb is doing with that needling technique, myoactivation. I need to remember that word, myoactivation. I call it the needling technique, but it's so important. Barb gets right in there, and she's very approachable and calm and kind. And she works with our clients and in a good way, and they come to our 8-week program, and there's no how you say, we're not going to, it can be a drop-in style. You can come every time for 8 weeks. You can come again you can repeat the course. It's open. The Pain BC program that we're running here is open, and it's so needed. And I'm just delighted to be a part of that. And so we include before the pandemic, before COVID-19, before the pandemic, we had a space where we would offer for our clients to create bundles. I mean, that is so amazing, because our sacred medicines of the tobacco, sage, sweetgrass, and our sacred cedar. So we offer to make bundles with them, and they can leave it here or take it with them at the end of the program. And now, as I was saying, with the COVID-19, we've had to stop that, and we're on Zoom and we're virtual. And so I think that down the road, we'll be planning on how we can support our clients on Zoom as everyone else is doing at the same time. And I've also had the privilege of, in the beginning, to review the curriculum. There was a group of us elders that had the privilege of reviewing the Making Sense of Pain curriculum. And so as Indigenous elders and people, we had a say in what we can offer support to our people in a good way. And I think that is what's needed in our healthcare, is having our Indigenous input for our people. And I think that elders play such an important role in what is going to be brought forward in our healthcare system. And I just feel so privileged to be able to come and do the work and support people from our Indigenous clients and all people. I am so happy when we have a group with people from the 4 nations, from all of the 4 directions. And I just think that, yeah, it's pretty amazing. And for the Making Sense of Pain and all of that. So maybe you want to jump in now?
Sure.
Will?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I think it's been really interesting to bring the Indigenous lens to the Making Sense of Pain curriculum and provide that safe space for our Indigenous clients, because I think if my stats are right, I want to say about 50% of the population within the downtown east side are Indigenous. So we have a huge number of Indigenous clients within our population. So it's very important for us to be able to provide that Indigenous lens and a safe space for them to access healthcare services, especially given the fact that a lot of Indigenous people have had very negative experiences within the healthcare system. So it's important to have that service available and to make this curriculum more Indigenized.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. And I really want to say thank you for you to continue the group, Will, with the COVID-19 going on. I just raised my hands to you for basically carrying on and holding up the sky, because on a personal level, I was injured this past summer and not able to participate in a lot of the groups that you were running. So I just know that I appreciate all of the good work that you're doing. So
it's great to have you back as well. We
Thank
missed you.
Thank you. It's great to be back. Yeah, and I do think that understanding chronic pain is so important, and not many people. I mean, we do have pain, and as I mentioned, I broke my arm in 3 places in my wrist, and so I was in a lot of pain, and so just recovering now, and so that was the middle of July, and so how many months is that? 3 months, 4 months? Yeah. And so having to learn to live with pain I take that as a teaching. When something happens, I turn it into a positive, and what can I do to enhance this experience that I've had? So I have to study that Making Sense of Pain book. And of course I do my medicines and my prayers, and just validating all of that. And we go to the next slide, and we provide basic Indigenous teachings and medicines for our clients. And we encourage our clients to consider their spiritual self. And one thing that I wonder if each and every one of you have considered your spiritual self, and do we think about that? Do we think about our spiritual self? From whatever beliefs that you have, do we bring that into our lives? Our emotional state. I mean, it's such a busy time, and it seems like that we work. And do we take time to breathe? Do we give our mental self, our mind, a break? Or do we keep going? And what are we doing physically in regard to our nutrition? And do we eat candy too much, or would we prefer to have a salad or some fresh strawberries or something? So we're just looking at all of that. And when we have our group, it says we do talk about these things. And what I really love is that we're able to put an Indigenous lens to it, and we're able to offer that for our clients. And it's been my experience that when we offer the teachings of the medicine wheel, that it's met with openness. Because we're so diverse here in the downtown east side, we're from many nations across Turtle Island, across Canada, across Turtle Island. And I think that having these basic teachings can actually help them to ground themselves and be able to take a breath, and hopefully they'll embrace that. And also having an opportunity to have the medicines, and they could take it with them, and maybe it's the first time they've heard of it, and that's okay too. I'm approachable, Will is approachable. We're inviting and offering teachings with the academics of pain and the physiology and that sort of thing, and also the sacredness of our medicines and teachings. And again, coming back to the whole for the spiritual. And I find that our clients are happy to do that. They may not say it, maybe they might say it further down the road, but I think that these teachings can be used for you and I, if we do look at the physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, and ask ourselves, what am I doing? Am I doing something in these areas to help me to be grounded so that I can provide a good service for our clients in a good way and come across as creating beauty for our clients, creating healing and all those things, and for the sacredness of our jobs. I think that we, as Vancouver Coastal Health employees, most of us, that we're in a position to offer that in a good way, all of our medicines, be it Western or be it Indigenous. And I'm hoping that we can incorporate more Indigenous teachings to our clients. And I think that's so important. Thank you. Yeah.
And to tie it all together, we modern pain theory has started looking a little bit more at what are all the different types of factors that influence pain. And what I love about the medicine wheel and the Indigenous teachings is that they, with some of these modern pain theories, they complement each other quite well. So to give you an example, if you think of, I don't know if we should use Elder Glida's example, but let's think about a different example. Let's think about twisting your knee and spraining your knee, for instance. And what are all the different factors that influence that? So of course you have the structures in your knee that are recovering from an injury, but there are psychological and sociological factors that also go into your ability to recover. So the psychology might look at the fears associated with the injury and your expectations for recovery. Is it possible for you to recover? Do you believe that it will recover? Do you think this is something that you have to live with for the rest of your life? The sociology is, do you have the resources to, and the social support networks, or do you have, family and friends that can help you recover through this injury? Or do you have a job that supports you, that can help you take some sick time off, or do you have to continue working through your injury? So there's a lot of different factors that influence our experiences of pain and the intensity of the pain and our ability to recover and our ability to engage in the activities that we want to get back into. And it's interesting that you mentioned the spiritual side of things, because that's, for me, only now starting to come into the discussion. I think in other professions, it's been at the forefront for a lot of other professions, but certainly not within the physiotherapy world. But that spiritual side of things is something that we should be considering as well. And the fact that these two things have a lot of similarities. If you look at the slide, we're thinking, psychology, the emotional and the mental within the medicine wheel, or the biology looking at the physical, or the spiritual is something that's missing out of that biopsychosocial model on the left side. But these two things tend to complement each other very, very well for our clients. And I think we just, within this experience, we resonate off one another quite a bit with the teachings, using some of these modern pain theories and incorporating the medicine wheel. I feel like they apply really quite well.
Absolutely. And I was trying my best to convince Will to put another circle on there, but he wouldn't listen.
We're still working through things.
So maybe next presentation we'll have created another circle in regard to the biosocial, the psycho-biosocial wheel. I call it a wheel, but it's missing that one piece.
It's missing the one piece. We'll add it.
But there's so many parallels, and I think it's so great that we're able to do that together, and we're able to offer the Western and the Indigenous. And I think that as we carry on the journey with the work that we're doing at for our health systems, the different systems, that we're able to incorporate the teachings. I do believe it's so important to have a look at that, and the beauty of this particular program for the PABC is that we're able to have that, and I think that is so awesome. I mean, specifically making sense of pain and having an Indigenous lens and Indigenous teachings is so awesome for the clients that we serve, especially when we're in the downtown east side and we have a marginalized population and opioid crisis and missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls crisis and all of these things. And I think that because we have Indigenous teachings in here, it's a beginning, and I think it's happening in many different aspects. I don't know them all. I'm just familiar with this, but I do believe that there is different approaches Vancouver Coastal Health is incorporating, and other health authorities. So yeah, OCM, thank you.
So let's wrap up with a bit of a client example. And this isn't actually Danielle, or we're using a pseudonym as well. We're taking from an example. So this isn't, we haven't shared anything that would reveal anybody. But we had this one client who had an opioid addiction, was addicted to street opioids, and ended up having a baby. And her baby was taken from her which provided quite a bit of motivation to learn how to manage her addiction. And eventually, Danielle ended up getting her baby back, but we learned that as she started accessing some of our services, that a lot of the reasons for her opioid use was mismanaged pain that wasn't really resolved from several car accidents that she had had. And what would happen is that she would experience pain and she'd start to get a craving to use again, because that was her primary management strategy for pain. So some of the teachings that I looked into with her was, how do we have this endogenous opioid system, not the words that I'm using, but we have this natural opioid system that exists within our body. It's the only reason why opioids work on our bodies, is that it exists within us already. And we can learn how to tap into it. And we can learn how to use opioids that exist within our body to begin managing our pain. And some of those ways that we do that is by doing things that we enjoy and things that make us laugh or bring happiness to our lives, like socializing or hanging out with friends or singing songs, listening to music, reading a good book. These are ways that engage the natural opioid system. And when we brought her to our class, the Making Sense of Pain class, Elder Glida starts off the way she typically started, with the way she started off with our group here today. And I find it was a very clear example of how do you engage that natural opioid system within our body. Because as I said earlier, and this wasn't actually planned, but as I said earlier, it's something that makes me feel quite relaxed and grounded. And it's something that our clients usually talk about as well, as far as having that sense of relaxation or being in the present moment. And it's one of those natural ways of engaging our opioid system that exists within us. So it is a very clear and powerful example of how these two, the medical world and our biomedical system, or the biopsychosocial approach to pain, can complement the Indigenous teachings that Elder Glida is able to provide.
Yeah, and so for your case study for Danielle, how did that work out?
So it's a skill that she's practicing. She took that skill away. Actually, the funny part was when I mentioned that there's an endogenous opioid system, and that relaxation strategies are one of the ways that helps us out. She kind of laughed at that, because a lot of people don't like to use breathing or meditation strategies to help themselves out. But having the understanding that you're engaging the opioid system, that this is one of the ways that she felt relaxed, ended up providing her with the motivation to start practicing it, because it's a skill that we need to practice. Otherwise, I don't know if she would have practiced it. So it created a lot of really good positive reinforcements and buy-in.
Totally. So that's really important, and I think that having this program here and having invitation, we're now doing Zoom. What is the limit for the class? For your space, is it? I'm on Zoom, so it's unlimited, but the in-house is.
We'd have a hard time facilitating 10 to 15 people on Zoom at a time.
Yeah. So I think that with each person that we're able to teach the technique and having them come in and having them meet Barb and the rest of the team, and the beauty of that is when things do come up, we're able to supply a support system. And you have bridged with a counseling department.
Yeah, so we work with the existing resources in the community health centers, such as counseling. I should give a shout out to Gloria as well, who's one of the counselors at the Downtown Community Health Center, who's done quite a bit of work with our team as well, and seen quite a few of our clients, and is providing some mentorship to other counselors who are interested in working in pain. But yeah, we've made some pretty good partners here within the downtown east side who are helping our clients out.
Thank you so much, Will. I'm sorry that I have to interrupt this amazing conversation. We do have a couple of questions that we'd like to get to over the next 5 minutes. The first question is a kind of a series of 3. Who is allowed to come to the Vancouver Community Primary Care Service? Can they already have a GP? And do they have to live in the downtown east side?
So the way it works for our service is that they have to be a member of one of the community health centers. So it's the Downtown Community Health Center, the Pender Community Health Center, Heatley Community Health Center, Sheway, Three Bridges Community Health Center, and Ravensong Community Health Center. So if they're a client in any 6 of those clinics, then they have access to our service. And it would be, they can self-refer if they know of our program, or a clinician can recommend the program out of one of those clinics.
Okay, thank you for that. I think quickly we can do one more question. If a non-Indigenous person is interested in exploring Indigenous treatment options for their ailment, where should they start?
Sorry, say that one more time. I missed the first part. Apologies. Oh.
If a non-Indigenous person is interested in exploring Indigenous treatment options for their ailment, where should they start?
We have non-Indigenous.
Yeah, we don't. Our service doesn't. Anybody can access our service. They don't have to be Indigenous to access our service. So that is very good. I don't know the answer. Generally, within other communities or health centers, I'm not super familiar with the other resources.
I do believe that no one gets turned away, and now that we're doing it on Zoom, it opens it up from all nations, from the 4 directions. So right now we are just accepting everyone, and so we don't know what that's going to look like down the road, because with the COVID-19 we're just doing the best that we can. So
yeah, so if there are folks who are interested in making sense of pain or the gentle movement class, we're not sending them away if they're not part of the community health center, but they wouldn't have access to our one-on-one services, because that's harder. We're pretty maxed out for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.